In this video, we're going to take a look at some more of the advanced filtering features of Excel. This is a database feature of Excel, so what you need is a table with column headings at the top. Let's make this a little wider here. And then a bunch of data down below. All of the data on a row is related, and if I move the first name, I better move all of the other fields along with it, otherwise I've scrambled my data. So that's the idea with a database. You've got rows of related information. That information has to stay together, but you can apply sorting and filtering and make pivot tables and do some other database kinds of things with it in Excel. So we're doing an advanced filter, so let's go to the Data tab first of all and look at the Sort and Filter box. And right here is where all of our sorting and filtering stuff is. And we're going to do an advanced filter. An advanced filter requires that you have a criteria range. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the first 10 rows of this spreadsheet and select them, and then right click and choose Insert. And I'm going to put my criteria range up here. And the criteria range needs to have a copy of the column headings. So let's do a Control C here. Let's go up to A1 and do a Control V and paste them in. You always want to copy column headings. Don't type them in yourself. They're not case sensitive, but if you make any kind of typing mistake, including putting an extra blank in someplace or leaving a blank out someplace, it is not going to recognize the column headings. So the smart thing to do is just cut them and paste them. And the reason I put them above here, they don't have to be above. They can be any place you want them. Put them on a spreadsheet, including another sheet if you want to. But I put them up here instead of off to the side because when you apply the filter, some of these rows are going to disappear. And I don't want my criteria range to disappear at the same time. So this way I don't have to worry about that problem. We looked at filtering on inequality condition in the previous video on advanced filtering. And on this video, we're going to look at inequality. Okay. So the only column I really have here that I can do anything with as far as inequalities are concerned is the credits column. So let's take a look at the credits column and let's try to do some simple advanced filters. So the first filter I'm going to do is to find the freshman. So a freshman we're going to consider as somebody who has fewer than 30 hours. So what I have to do is I have to put less than 30 below the word credits. And if I put it below the word credits, then it will look in the credits column when I apply the filter. If the number in the credits column is less than 30, it will select it for display. And if it is not less than 30, then it will hide it. Okay. So now this is the only thing I'm looking for. Other stuff I don't care about, so I just leave that blank. So this will just give me the freshman. Before I start, you make your life a little bit easier if you just click inside of your data table here and before you start clicking on advanced. Okay, after you've clicked on advanced, if you start off with the cursor in the data, it should successfully locate the data by putting a dancing line around it. Otherwise, you'll have to tell it where it is. Now, it can only figure out one of these two. So the second thing we do have to provide for it. So the criteria range, we could do all of this, which means the credits has to be less than 30, and I don't care what the first name, last name, major, advisor, or ID number are. However, since we don't need those columns, we don't really need to include them in our criteria range here. This is the only thing that really matters. So go ahead, click on that, and click on OK when you're done, and you'll see that we have exactly 3 freshmen. And this does the same thing that a autofilter did, in the sense that what it does is it puts blue numbers over here, and you see these little gaps where rows are missing. And so the blue numbers on the left with the little gaps in between are your visual indicator that you're not seeing all of the data. And the other thing is down here on the bottom left, just like with an autofilter, it tells you how many records out of the total number of records were selected that met your criteria. So that's our rule for freshmen. Let's clear that. And let's go in here and let's do a rule for seniors. Just hit the delete key and then type in a senior, somebody greater than or equal to 90 credits, and hit enter. Okay, and now let's apply a filter for that. Let's go down here into our data. Let's go back to our data tab, go to the sort and filter group, click on advanced, and again it successfully identifies your list range or your database table. And then we got to tell it where the criteria range is, and the criteria range hasn't changed either. It is still these two cells. And click on the button, click on OK, and now it comes up and shows me that I have 8 seniors out of 43 students. Again, I've got the blue numbers, and that's how I can tell that a filter is being applied. Okay, let's clear that. Those are pretty easy. You can use, any equality or relational operator up there. You can put equals, you can put greater than, less than, you can do greater than or equal to like we did here, you can do less than or equal to, which just looks like this, or you can do not equal to, which in Excel looks like a less than sign followed by a greater than sign, and it will apply that relational operator. Okay, now let's do something a little more interesting. Let's do sophomores. And a sophomore is somebody that has greater than or equal to 30 credits, but less than 60 credits. Now, Excel does not let you put two rules in the same cell here when you're applying an advanced filter. So what do? Well, if I want two rules for credits, then I have to copy that. Let's right-click on that and copy it, and then let's go over here and paste it in. So I got the word credits appearing twice now, and I can put my other part of my rule up here, less than 60, okay? Greater than or equal to 30 and less than 60. If the rules are on the same row like this, then everything on the row must be true. So this must be true and this must be true. So it's like we have an and condition here with the word and in between, okay? So let's go and click in our data table again, and let's click on advanced. And again, it correctly selects my list range. My criteria range, however, is not correct. I wish it would highlight it for us, but it's not highlighting it here. So we have to select both of the credits columns, okay? And because they're on the same row, both of those have to be true. Go ahead and hit enter, click on OK, and it will show you all of the sophomores. We've got quite a few in here. We've got 22 out of 43 are sophomores. And if you take a look at these rules, every single one of them is at least 30, but less than 60. And you can disregard this green line over here. That's just where the cursor happened to be the last time that I clicked on a cell. Okay, so that gives us the freshman. Okay, let's clear that. And I've still got my dancing line there. I don't want that. I'm going to hit escape to get rid of the dancing line. Okay, so that gives me freshmen. I can also apply, that gives me sophomores. I can also apply a filter in another column. So let's type in BUAD and hit enter. And now what I'm asking for is, if they're all in the same row, it's like the word and is in between. So they must be a business major, and they must have 30 or more credits, and they must have less than 60 credits. So I'm asking for sophomore business majors. Okay, so let's apply a new filter. Let's click down in the data. Let's go to advanced, and it selects the correct data, but our list range is not correct. Our list range needs to go from there to there, and click on the button, click on OK, and what we get is, looks like we have 4 business majors that happen to be sophomores. Okay, let's clear that. Now, what if I want the sophomore accounting majors as well? Well, the major has to be accounting, and when you have rules on multiple rows, it compares one row's rules at a time, and they all have to be true. So all of these have to be true in order to select a record. If this does not work, then Excel goes to the next row here, and it checks to see if that's true. And that's just asking for accounting. It's not asking for the accounting sophomores. So let's go down here and let's just verify that this does what we think it's doing. And click on advanced and click on the criteria range over here. And now my criteria range is, whoops, I don't get that extra blank line in there. If you do, you'll get every record. Okay, let's click on our button over here, click on OK. And what I got is, I got the same 4 business majors I got before, but I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different accounting majors. But look, this is not a sophomore. That's not a sophomore. That's not a sophomore. That's not a sophomore. That's not a sophomore. I might not have, I do. I have 1 sophomore who's an accounting major. But I'm getting all of them because I didn't put any more restrictions on this row here. So I want the same restrictions there. So I'm just going to right click and I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to go down here, right click, and I'm going to paste it, and then I'm going to clear it, and I need to reapply the filter. You can't, it doesn't make changes on the fly. If we change the rule, you have to go reapply it. So put the cursor any place in the data, click on advanced, go to the criteria range, click on the arrow, and click and drag. And we're selecting, I think that's the same thing we had last time, but this time we're going to get different results because we're only going to get business sophomores and accounting sophomores. Let's go back here, let's click on OK. And there was one accounting sophomore, and we got that person, and the other ones were filtered out. So you can put as many rows in there as you want to. You know, just be careful. If I were to move these two rules down here and make this my criteria range, then what I'm asking for is sophomores, and I'm asking for that twice, which doesn't make any sense. And it's going to give me all sophomores. And if they're not sophomore but they're a business major, I'll select them. And if they're not sophomore and they're not a business major but they're an accounting major, they'll get selected. So we'll get all sophomores and all business majors and all accounting majors if we move these down here and include those two rows in our criteria range. Okay, so far we really haven't done anything that you couldn't do with the auto filter that we learned about earlier. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at something that does require an advanced filter. Let's clear the current filter, and let's say that for whatever reason we want to take the sophomores in business and accounting and we want to pair them up with some seniors from the same department. So let's type in VUAD again, and let's type in ACCT down here. And what I need is, I need 4 rules. I need 1 to get the business sophomores. I need 1 to get the business seniors. I need, whoops, that went too far. I need 1 to get the accounting sophomores. I need 1 to get the accounting seniors, okay? And because they're on separate rows, I'm asking for business sophomores or accounting sophomores or business seniors or accounting seniors. So what I need to do here is select the seniors, and the senior is somebody greater than or equal to 90 credits, and same thing down here, greater than or equal to 90 credits. This is a rule that you could not apply using the auto filter because we are doing 3 different rules in the credits column, and if you remember, you can only do 2 rules in a column when you're doing an auto filter. So this is something you would have to use an advanced filter for. Okay, let's apply it. Let's put the cursor in the data. Let's go up here and click on advanced. And our criteria range this time is going to go from here all the way down and over to here. And click on OK. And if we look at these now, we should have, let's sort them by credits as well. Let's go up here and do a Z to A sort. And so we have here, we have 3 seniors, it looks like, 2 in business and 1 in accounting. And down here we have all of our sophomores. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 in business and 1 in accounting. So that is how you test for inequalities. And if you want multiple things to be true at the same time, they have to go on the same row. If you want multiple things to be true but they're exclusive of one another, you know, you want this to be true or this to be true, then you put the rules on separate rows. So I want this to be true, or I want this to be true, or I want this to be true, or I want this to be true. And if any one of those 4 things is true, the record will be selected, and if it is not, the record will be hidden.